Going live in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, y'all? You're tuned into the one and only all-female sportscast. I'm Nyana.
And I'm Ashlyn. And this is Girls Talk Game.
Well, thank you for joining us for episode 2 of Girls Talk Game. We have two amazing guests with us today. We have Miss Abby Stutts and also Rachel Satterly. They are both with Freed-Hardeman Women's Basketball. You are the coach, second year as the coach, fifth year senior.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are so excited that you guys are here with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Well, we wanted to jump right on in. So as you guys know from the last time, we started with the incredible segment, which is my favorite segment. It's called Girl, Be So For Real. So last time I gave you guys
The TikTok.
a grievance.
Yeah,
Yes.
the grievance TikTok.
But this time we have something a little bit better. So
I don't know if y'all are ready for this one.
everybody has a game day song that they get ready to, they lock into. And with you guys in basketball, in that sport, you have to be locked in all the time. So I was like, what better way than to have a song that really gets you in the mood? So I know everybody has that. So I want to start with you guys. I don't know what songs they picked. So I'm going to let you guys play your song.
All right.
She's a millennial.
Yep. Black Eyed Peas.
I've never heard of it.
What?
Really?
Girl. See, it really gets you going. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't listened to it on game days in a long time, but as a player, anytime I hear it, I really enjoy it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Your turn.
What do you have for us, Rachel?
I don't really listen to music as much as I used to on game days. Maybe mainly just are goofy in the locker room, not listening to music, which is strange, but it's true. So I just picked this one. Basic, but she knows it.
I know this one.
Say,
Okay.
not millennial. There you go.
I'm interested
Got
to
yours
hear
now.
y'all's, yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know either of those songs.
Okay, guys. Like, this is my favorite song right now. So it's the only thing I could think of, okay? And it's really kind of stupid, but whatever.
I have never heard this
Tate
song.
McRae. It's Tate McRae. It's Tate McRae.
No, we don't know that.
You should listen to Tate McRae.
Okay, you might have just put me on.
Shout out Tate McRae if you ever are gonna watch.
Okay, now the last one. I don't know if you guys know this one. Oh, I think I put the explicit version. Hold on. Do they have a? We're just gonna play a couple seconds.
Yeah,
I've heard this.
for sure. It's on TikTok, yeah.
Okay.
That's my song. I had to make sure I didn't play it, you know. But yeah, so everybody has a song that they really lock into, which I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I might not know all of them, but whatever works for everybody works.
Right. And I feel like there's always music playing during warm-ups and stuff too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Big music girl.
Awesome. Well, we can go into our first segment. So we kind of wanted to get a background from you guys. So this segment is titled Behind the Athlete.
Yeah.
So you both were athletes. You're the coach now. So you're in like a different era, which we love. But I just wanted to start off by asking you, you know, tell us a little bit more about your athletic career.
Yeah. Basketball or just sports in general has been a part of my life since literally as long as I can remember. I was actually asked this week by my nephew. He was like, what was the first sport you played? Like, when did you start? And it's literally been as long as I can remember. I mean, I think since for sure kindergarten, if not before then. And it has just really been a huge part of like how it shaped me as a person. It taught me so many life lessons. It gave me so many friendships. I had a lot of injuries, and so even that, like I was also talking to someone this week who experienced a big injury, and just even that in the moment is super unfortunate, but then like looking back, it made me so much stronger as a person. It taught me a lot of lessons of patience and how to work hard, and kind of showed me a game from a different perspective too, which I think then led me being interested in wanting to be a coach, and had so many people who poured into me, and now I get to do that for these girls. So I've been super blessed.
That's amazing.
Awesome. So Rachel, we kind of want to ask you, why did you decide to play basketball? Or is this something you chose, or did your parents put you in it when you were younger?
Well, I will say when I was a kid, I was probably interested in softball first. I ended up growing into loving basketball, but my parents, it really wasn't a choice. I chose it, ended up, but they signed me up for it, and that was just kind of where it started. But it was like you're going to play one sport, you can pick whatever sport you want, but you're going to play it. And ended up liking basketball the best, and you know, it's just different than a lot of other sports, but you know, they kind of started it, and then my love grew for it as we went. Even I'm just competitive, so any kind of game, sport, board game, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna love it, especially if I win. So yeah.
And she's pretty good at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up being decent at it, so it works out good.
So you said that your parents put you in it. Are
Yeah.
they big sports people?
Yeah, both of them. Neither one of them played college. They just grew up in a different time, so it was a lot different, especially for my mom. But coaches, they both coached. My granddad was a coach. Like, it's just, especially basketball. Like, they were kind of pushing basketball.
Yeah.
But they were like, you can choose whatever you want, that kind of thing. But yeah, we watch sports all the time. That's just what kind of our family dynamic is like
Okay.
based
so kind
upon.
of
And it's like, yeah, like we just have a sort of different kind of appreciation for sports, especially them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we asked you, why did you become an athlete? We have to ask you why you became a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also been in my family. My dad was a coach for a long time. My brother is the men's coach at Freed too, so we kind of have a little sibling duo going on there. My sister has coached a little bit, so it's kind of just been, I would say, in our blood a little bit. But I have just been super blessed to have a lot of great coaches who really impacted me even outside of the court. Like, I've been on some super successful teams, had a successful career just as an individual too, but it was always more than that, of just people who care about you as a person. And I really believe, like, that's why we have sports, is we talk about it a lot as a team too, of just, you are more than an athlete, you're more than just a basketball player. And I believe that these are just the talents that God has given us to be interested in a sport, or, you know, have the gifts of leadership, and so we get to use those to just become who He wants us to become. But I really believe that it's been multiple people who've poured into me, and I'm just grateful that I get to do that for somebody else. So,
Absolutely. That's amazing.
thank you.
You're going to bring me to tears over here. Literally.
And Rachel, we talked a little bit about, before we started recording, that you are from Kentucky.
Yeah.
So did that kind of shape your love for basketball because it was near UK? And also, how did you end up at Freed if you are from Kentucky?
So I didn't really know, like, growing up. Obviously, we're huge UK fans. They're not very good right now, so the women's team is good, so that's good. But I feel like when we were at my house, that's just what we were watching, was a UK basketball game. And I always have loved watching, and you learn how to play by watching, in my opinion. And so, I don't know, the high school sports were good. Like, I was blessed to be on a really good high school team, and, you know, it was just kind of like, that is what not my life, but like a lot of aspects of my life were about, like watching what we were at home watching. If I got back from practice, that's what was on the TV if there was a game. So, but I feel like that could be in every state, but especially Kentucky. Like, you're a Kentucky fan, you're going to watch the games. And so, and then, so Coach Epperson, he was the coach before Coach Abby. He came to my high school and he did this like scholarship kind of like recruiting thing to help you kind of look for schools, and he did that, and I signed up for it, and I was just in a lot of contact with him, and then he ended up getting the job at Freed, and I accepted the scholarship to play there, and then Coach Abby took over, and it's kind of been history from there. And my sister also plays at Freed. She's a sophomore, so it's just kind of in the family now. I didn't know anything about it until I met Coach Epperson, so I do have him to thank for that if he is watching, but yeah, so me and my sister, it's kind of just in the blood now, so who knows, maybe our kids will go there too. We didn't even know about it. We didn't even know. It's not like we're legacies or anything, but yeah.
I love that. I love that not only your family is at Freed, but yours is too. So, like, how does that feel to, you know, have family members who not only who are just on campus with you guys?
It's super special for me. I mean, mine and my brother's offices are right next door to each other, and basketball has been something that we've bonded over, you know, like my whole life, and so he's really helped me become a great player, but now he's helping me become a great coach too. And so I know our family loves it. Like, my parents come up, my sister and her family, they come up for like every home game, if not even away games. So for us, it's been super special, and I'm sure she could say the same.
I was going to say the thing is kind of, the premise is kind of the same. Like, me and my sister have always bonded over basketball, and we fought over basketball. Like, it's just, we've always been teammates, and it's just a blessing to get to play with her. I never thought that I would get to again after high school. And my parents come to every game. Like, it's just so not convenient for them, but it is. We live kind of far away, so it's better for them to come watch us both play. And it's just, I'm very thankful that I got to start something at a new place for all of us, and kind of let my sister kind of follow in that footsteps in her own way. Like, not let her copy me, but let her do her own thing in the same environment. And it's just that's just what we as a family of 4 really bond over, is just basketball. And so everybody being at the same place in the same university is just, it's kind of something that I can't really describe, I don't guess, but yeah.
And is there any competition between you and your
Oh,
sister?
that was going to be my next question.
Are you trying to be
Sibling
better than
rivalries.
her, or is she trying to be better than you?
Not really. I feel like in high school that was more the case, which I had a different role on my team in high school, and so did she. And so when we were kids, yes, for sure, it was always she's trying to be better than me, I'm trying to be better than her. But the age gap is kind of a really good age gap, 3 years, and I feel like now it's more like we are trying to make each other better. And so we play together. We love to play together. There's not really like a rivalry anymore now that we kind of have the same goal. And so there definitely used to be, and there's some influences from other people, but we are both very competitive. I would say that's the hardest. The hardest thing is us taking advice from each other, criticism and stuff. I would say that is where the rivalry kind of comes in. But
It gets
still,
really fun for us.
yeah.
I bet.
Still, I mean, I've learned from her, and I think she could say she's learned from me, hopefully. So I think it's been very blessing, very much a blessing. So
You can tell they have like the sister connection though. Like they already know that it's just, our team has great connection, but specifically them two. Like there are certain things that they just know what each other's going to do or how they're going to respond.
yeah,
And so
we do
it's-
play well together.
it's
I
a
can
lot
say
of
that
fun.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. What about you and your brother? Is there like some sibling rivalry with that too?
I think that there's like a healthy competitiveness of like people joke all the time about like whose record's better and whose ranking's higher, but it's really just all fun. I mean, we both support each other in everything that we do, and people always joke too. They're like in a one-on-one competition, like who would win, and I'm like, honestly, like I'd love to say it would be me, but I know good and well it would be him. But we were both shooters, and so I'm like, a shooting competition, actually last year in front of, not the whole school, but almost the whole school, me and him kind of did a head-to-head shooting competition,
really?
and I did win.
Congratulations.
So I can back that up, so it's fun.
I love to see that. I love that.
Awesome. So we're going to move into our next segment, which is called Inside the Lines Den.
Okay.
We're going to talk about some of your stats and your team identity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the identity you want the team to have?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go
Me
ahead.
First? Okay.
Yeah.
We have 3 pillars for our team, and so it's an acronym for FHU, but F is for fearless, and so really there's a lot to that, but just being sure that we're not being result driven, and we're not going to let fear or things that maybe it's a lack of confidence or doubt that we are going to keep us from continuing to do hard things and really attacking hard things, that we want to be fearless. We're not going to let fear dictate how we do things or how we go about things. And then H is hardworking, and so that kind of represents every aspect, whether it's in the classroom, in the weight room, on the floor, but I believe when you're a hard worker, it's who you are and it's how you do everything. And then U is united, and so I think that that's a really special characteristic of our team. We have a great group of girls who are super close, and at the end of the day, like, we have very unselfish people, and so that creates a united group that they're not worried about themselves or their stats or whatever. It's how can the team be the best, and how can we, as a group, be the best that we can be. And so those are 3 characteristics that we really talk about a lot as a team, and I think we're striving to embody.
Absolutely. And I love that you put it in the acronym too.
Yeah,
Which
well, it was easy for everybody to remember, so.
Love that. Well,
Thank
you've
you.
been this is your 2nd year as head coach. So is that something that you guys kind of implemented last year, or has this carried on throughout the years?
No, it's something last year. So I was an assistant for 4 years with Coach Epperson, like Rachel was saying, and had a great experience with that. And then a lot of those same characteristics, I think, are things that we believed even whenever I wasn't an assistant, but we kind of put a name to it whenever I became head coach last year, of just really trying to have an identity. And those are 3 things that we can consistently talk about that I think are aspects to individually what as females sometimes we struggle with, and just athletes in general sometimes can really be reliant on your stats or your results of, you know, did you make the game-winning shot or things like that, that sometimes you let your self-confidence be dictated by how many points you scored, where it's so much bigger than that. And so at the end of the day, using sports to become a better version of yourself and trying to trust the process of who you become over time, not just how many points did you score or what acronym did you get at the end of the year. So I think putting words to it kind of helps our girls resonate. And even myself, like, it's stuff that I experience as a player too, and even experience as a coach now, but we're all kind of striving for the same thing. So
Absolutely, and I love that for one, I love what you guys stand for. Not even just at the university, but just the team, your culture.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to ask you, because you briefly mentioned, you know, that you kind of want to instill something in them that's bigger than the game. So how do you keep their confidence up when they might not get the results that they thought they were going to get?
Yeah. Just reminding them and myself of, when you really think about basketball, it is about an orange ball that goes into an orange hoop. And when you think of that, are we going to let a ball that goes through a hoop dictate how we feel about ourselves as people and as women? We should not do that. And so, like, even as a coach, I put so much pressure on myself, and I stress about us trying to win and be sure I'm helping these girls as much as I can. And I know that they do the same. Our whole lives have been dictated to or dedicated to a sport, and that's why we're here. But being sure that there's that good, healthy separation, that, like, your sport does not define who you are as a person. Like, you are more than just an athlete. I'm more than just a basketball coach. And so using these tools when they're out of their sport, of, you know, how can you be the best at whatever's next in your life, you know, whether it's your career, whether it's you being a wife, whether it's you being a mom, you know, all of those things. We're learning these life lessons so we can apply that to when the ball does stop bouncing, who are you after that? And I believe we're learning all of those, and I'm still learning myself of just through my career too. We're learning all those lessons to become the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So would you say you focus more on playing offense, defense, or physicality?
I'll let you
Rachel.
get that one.
I
All
feel
the
like
above.
we, as a team, our identity is more in defense. I would feel like, just because it kind of, you know, I've never really been a defensive-minded player, but I do feel like coming here, you win through defense. I mean, it's just kind of, defense can create offense. Offense can't create defense as much, so it's just kind of like its own thing that can create other things. I wouldn't say we're super physical. I would say we're super smart.
Yeah.
That would be
I
my
agree with that.
that would be my kind of more like the execution side of things, but we are definitely defensive minded.
Yeah.
I would say this year probably a little more offensive minded than
Yeah.
since I've played, just because we have the skill sets to be able to be offensive minded, but defense first, because you know you've got to score more points, and you can do that by not letting them score as many points. So,
Right.
but yeah.
Right.
And you talk about how you have more of an offensive mindset a little bit this year. What kind of skills has the team received to do that?
Well, in the past years, we've just kind of had less scorers, if that makes sense, like people who can create their own shot. And I just feel like this year, you know, we do have people that can create their own shot. I'm not really one of those people, but, you know, we've
That
Is she downplaying it?
She is.
we've just have people who, you know, are looking to score. And so we use our defense to create that offense, but I do feel like just like overall skill set wise, like we have people who can shoot and can drive and can create that themselves. So
Our
that's just
personnel's
kind of
a little
more,
bit different,
personnel
yeah.
is just a little bit different. And so that's different than what I've ever played with since I've been at Freed, so which is a good thing, growth every year. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as a player, what did the last season teach you, and what are you going into this season?
So I would say every year since I've been at Freed, we have been underdogs in just about every way. And I really like that mindset just in general, even if you're the number one team in the country. Like that, just the underdog mindset is so, it's just different for me, and it just gives you more fire, you know? So last year we went all the way to the Elite Eight, and people were like, whoa, hello, who are these people? Where are they coming from? Like, it's just, and now this year people know who we are because we did that and we have this success, and we're, you know, ranked pretty high, and people know who our personnel is, and that's just different than what I've experienced since I've been here. And it's you can take the underdog mindset, you can learn from that and how to play, but now you have to have the mindset of, oh, I'm the best team that walks into the gym. So now we as a team have kind of had to shift our mindset mainly, is what I would say, just as we have to have confidence in what we've done and who we are now, but we also still can't approach it as we're that team. You know, we don't want to approach it as that, because then you kind of get into this cycle of, we can play these teams any way we want and we'll still win. But it's just, you got to be humble. I agree. And we really have no reason not to be humble. So it's just kind of shifting the mindset a little bit this year. Still having the same confidence and the same fire, but just the mindset is a little bit different, I would say.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned, I'm going to kind of piggyback on a little bit of what you said, because last season, you guys had an incredible season last season, and we kind of watched you guys from the station. We were rooting for you guys. You know, Ryan attended, so he kind of got everybody excited about it, but that was your first year as head coach.
It was.
So how was that, seeing how the team performed so high under your leadership?
It was awesome. It really was. I think just speaking of humility, like going into our first team meeting, all of that happened extremely fast. And like I knew I wanted to be a head coach at some point in time, but did not know that that was what was going to happen last year. And so just going into them of just being super honest and humble of, I do not have all the answers and I do not have everything figured out, but we're going to work extremely hard at it and we're going to figure it out together. And I really believe that that's kind of what carried us through of, I had their backs and they had my back as well, and there was just a lot of trust there, a lot of great just connection where we weren't perfect. I wasn't perfect by any means, but I think that we had a lot of trust within each other, them on the floor as well, just like great connection that we knew we were capable of a lot. We play an extremely tough conference, and so we also knew that going into it that there was going to be some challenges, but our theme last year was us versus us, and so we were trying to take the rankings or maybe teams in our conference or anything like that. We were just trying to chase the best version of our team that we could be, and I really think staying with that focus helped us a lot last year. But it was just a super special season to be able to make a big run in the national tournament and then make it to the Elite Eight. Like, you could not ask for a better first year. So.
And I love that mentality, for one. I just got to put that out there.
Thank you.
So what does it take to have a team like that did have this record and now have this record of 11-0?
You want me to go or you go?
I feel like what we put our identity in, like you asked that question earlier about identity, and I just think what you put your identity in, not as much of like basketball skills, execution, all that stuff, and obviously what you do in game is super important, but you have to have, first, everybody on the team has to have the same goal, and whether you're 11-0 or 0-11, like it doesn't matter what results we've been given, our goal has to be the same. And I feel like we, you know, in the locker room, even things that she's not a part of, like it's just everybody has the same goal. We all have the same, we want it for each other. We don't want it for us. We want it for each other. We want it for her. We want it for, you know, the people that come to watch our games. And it's just like that kind of motivation is what kind of pushes you to, yes, your record is so important and how you do in games is so important, but I think it's driven from that, not as much of, what kind of skills do you have? Because last year, we were not even close to the most skilled team in the 8 teams that were left. It was just like a different drive, I think, within us. So that would be where I would say that success and those records come from, is that kind of drive.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I kind of want to talk about the recruiting process a little bit.
So pass it over to but it was different. Mine was different.
So to have the record that you have and to have the record so far this season to be 11-0, what does the recruiting process look like for these girls? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Especially girls in high school that are thinking about playing college basketball. What are they looking for?
Yeah. For us, it's kind of everything that we've talked about of we want girls who want to be at Freed, and Freed is a really special place with a lot of special opportunities. It's very tight-knit university, but I think even being more specific to our team of kind of what Rachel was just talking about of super unselfish players that, you know, you can find really talented players who put up really big numbers, and that can be great as long as they also have the right mindset of, you know, whatever role I need to play for our team to be the best that it can be. And so I definitely think finding girls who kind of embody what I was talking about with our characteristics as well, of just being super hardworking, super unselfish, great students who care about, you know, the classroom. Like at the end of the day, again, them getting an education is number one thing. We want them to come out with a great experience, a good degree. They're ready for the next phase of life. And so kind of all of that combined of just, you know, great high character kids who are also, you know, wanting what Freed has to offer as well. And I think with Rachel and even her sister that she mentioned, just high competitors too. I think that's one of Rachel's best qualities, and even just her sister's quality as well, of they love to compete. And kind of like we mentioned with the national tournament, with our conference, it is high level basketball. And so even just like some numbers to back that up, like there's 7 teams in our conference, and last year 5 of the 7 of us made the Sweet 16. And so you're going against the best of the best. You are trying to be the best of the best. And so you've got to have people who love basketball, who love the hard work, who love their teammates, and there's just a lot that kind of goes into that. But just overall well-rounded girls who want what we have to offer as a team, but what Freed has to offer as well.
Yeah. And also, like, if people were interested, what does a practice typically look like for y'all?
I'll let you
go. I feel like different parts of the season, it looks a little bit different. But right now, we would typically watch film, prepare for the next game, you know, stretch, do some warm-up drills, and then we will scout. So that would be like repping the other team's defense, repping the other team's offense. And with people on our team, sometimes we'll have some guys from campus come in and do it with us, but it gets everybody reps and everything. Preseason is a little bit different. It's a little more of this. Not too much, but we'll do some conditioning stuff, you know, at the beginning, and then kind of ease that into practice also. 2-hour practices most of the time, and practice is, you know, where you get better. You wouldn't be able to do what you do without practice, and no matter how much you may hate it, it's just, you know, the way that it is, and every day is different, honestly. So it's kind of, the question's kind of hard, just because depending on what part of the season or even what part of the week that you're in, it's just kind of different. But usually 2 hours, warm-ups at the beginning, some like scout, and just like getting better at your offense and defense in the middle, and then at the end kind of more closing drills, kind of like closing remarks almost. Like, this is the way you finish every day. So, yeah.
And I'm curious. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I'm curious about what your conditioning looks like. How much do you think you run?
I will say this, compared to other teams, I don't think it's probably as much. I feel like this year we've put a really good emphasis on weightlifting, which is just as important as running, in my opinion. So I'm not a great runner. It's just different in the game. So, but we do have a week at the beginning called Tough Week. It's just kind of more of a mindset week, which it's super hard. I mean, that's just the way that it is. And then in practice, we will run just like normal. But I wouldn't say we put like the biggest emphasis in the world on conditioning. It's important to be in shape, but it's not like end all be all, you know?
Yeah.
So it just changes your mindset, in my opinion. We use conditioning more as a mindset, and yes, it's for your physical body also, but not as much on that.
Yeah. I feel like with practice and with the conditioning too, overall we're pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like we do things that are like super fundamental. Pretty much every day we have like some staple drills that I know that they love that we do every day. But really, like when it comes to conditioning and running and stuff, a lot of that does happen just as you're practicing and as you're playing. And so I'm not a huge believer in like having to run a bunch of miles and doing all this. Like I would much rather you be getting in shape while we're also doing drills and y'all are scrimmaging and having to practice at a high level and play at a high level. So you're getting that conditioning while also getting better as a team and just getting better at basketball rather than, hey, go run X amount of miles and see how fast you can do it, you know. So I think that there's some benefit to some of those things, but we've just found ourselves being more so getting conditioned while in practice and on the floor. So
Okay. So not a lot of suicides. Great.
well, we have pretty let's fix that.
In practice,
yeah. Yeah.
But it's more of a competitive, like,
Yeah.
you know, like losers run a suicide.
Yeah.
Everybody ends up running.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
In preseason especially, and even now, depending, like she said, on where we're at in the week and when games are coming up, we try to keep things competitive. So there's a lot of score with things, or we're keeping count of different things. And so if we meet the goal, great. If we don't, then usually there's some type of running involved where it is timed, or if you lose the drill or the scrimmage, then you have to run and it is timed. So there's some of that stuff, but there's more incentive to just win. And so we're trying to teach that mindset of competing and find a way to win. So
Absolutely. Well, Rachel, I have another question for you. You kind of briefly mentioned it earlier in another segment, but just how like your role has kind of shifted on the teams. I kind of wanted to ask you about that too.
Well, just as a player in general, since I've been in like high school. In high school, we had a lot of high-level recruits on the team that I played for, and so I was just the point guard. You know, I just kind of, and it was amazing. You know, I'm happy to play any role on a winning team. Like we won, and we went to the Final Four of state, and so what I did was working, and I was just the point guard, kind of ran the plays, called the plays, played defense, did the little things, and still do that now. But I would say the last couple years, especially this year and last year, the years before, I kind of had to be like a pretty high-level scorer, and that's just like a lot of pressure on me. I'm not used to it. I wasn't, as I said in high school, like I was not used to scoring a lot. And now I feel like I have settled more into the role of like I'm a leader, and I just want to lead on both sides of the ball. Like it doesn't matter, you know, I don't have to score for us to win. I don't have to, you know, shoot the lights out for us to win or anything like that. And just like the role as a leader has been something that has shifted for me. I feel like I've always had to be an on-the-court leader since I've been at Freed, but this year I'm really feeling the off-the-court leader, and I'm loving it, and it's great.
Yeah.
And just, you know, kind of getting to be that locker room voice has been something that has been different for me. So I would say there's been some shifts, but there's also some stuff that's the same. And so any role, you know, in any part of life is something that, you know, I'm willing to give a shot, see if it works, and it's been very fitting this year. So.
she's just usually able to fill whatever role is needed, but like great things happen when she's on the floor. So whether it's like kind of going back to that competing and just doing whatever it takes to win, that is her. Of like if she needs to score, she is more than capable of being a great shooter, a great scorer, but she also the other night had our career assist, and so like I don't even remember how many points you scored, but she just had her career assist high. And so that defensively, like, she's just a competitor that she can fill whatever role it is, and good things are going to happen, and she's just trying to help her team win. So I feel like that's a great quality about her.
Awesome. So how do you think you balance, you know, your lifestyle with basketball? It's all focused about basketball. How do you balance, you know, your school life, maybe personal life, things like that?
I would say, because really my personal life is mainly with the team. So like that's mainly where all my friends come from. And so outside of practice and games, we're always together for practicing games, and even after practicing games, we are always together. And we do our schoolwork together. And I don't have as hard of a major as some of my other friends do, so it's different. But this semester I've been, you know, at school all day and then come to practice. You just kind of have to find that time for you. You know, there's not always, you know, a time for you where you're going to get burnt out, and it's going to be super easy to get burnt out, and I've done it before. And you do have to find a true balance. And I still haven't really figured it all out yet. Like I don't find time for me very well. But I do feel like right now my time for me is with my friends. And so that is just kind of, you got to find what works for you. It's, personal on every level. And if you are doing something that you love in school, nobody likes school. But like if you know at the end of it that, this is going to be what I love, you kind of have to find your motivation through that too. And we all know that basketball is not end all be all for us. And so especially me, my time's coming to an end here soon. So I do have to, figure out who am I without this. And I think I have done that a lot this year in that balance of, I'm going to be, I'm at school and I'm with my friends. Like, that's who I am outside of, basketball. So.
Well, I wanted to ask you both, because both of you guys are leaders. You coach the team, but you're a fifth-year player as well. So how do you guys manage, leading the players, but also still being human and, not as hard on them or, still relating to them?
I think with me still being younger, like I'm able to connect with them of like, yeah, it's been a little bit since I've played, but just being able to take like all of the feelings and experiences that I had as an athlete and being able to like connect that with them of, it's still very fresh on my mind, and honestly like some of those same feelings that you feel whenever they're feeling pressure or maybe don't feel like they performed as well, like I also still feel that as a coach of just understanding that like we're not perfect, and so I try to give myself a lot of grace, and I also feel like that carries over to them as well of, yes, there are standards and we expect people to perform at a high level, but also understanding like we're human. And I think like just trying to connect like female to female of, I know that there's a lot of things that people do struggle when it comes to self-doubt or low self-esteem or, any of those things where we're definitely trying to combat that and not let ourselves feel that way. But I also understand like it's a realistic feeling. Like people get stressed out, people have bad days. And so I think that overall just knowing them as a person helps me be able to lead them more as a player as well, that it starts with that of our relationship off the court of just knowing who they are, what they struggle with, what's going on in their life, who their families are, where they come from, that I'm able to use all of that to help them hopefully become a great basketball player. But hopefully I'm doing more than that, where I'm helping shape them as a person while I'm also continuing to be shaped myself. So it's still more than basketball. So.
Absolutely. What about you, Rachel?
I would say just kind of giving grace, in yourself and with your teammates. I'm under just as much pressure as the girl next to me, whether the girl next to me is a follower, whether she's a leader, whatever role she has on the team. The pressure is still the same, and just kind of like she said, knowing them outside of who they are as a basketball player. Like that is, this is my circle. Like my teammates are my circle, and it's where, a lot of my friendships and relationships are formed, and it's just, we have talked about this before, like this is gonna end. Like this is not, we're all gonna mess up and get frustrated and say sometimes things that we don't mean, and that's just the way that it is because we're girls and we're athletes and we're competitive. But knowing that this is not we are not just teammates. We are best friends. We are around each other all the time. We spend all our time together. This is not, and as a leader, you have to take that into consideration. Everybody reacts to everything differently and handles things differently. And so just kind of knowing who your teammates are as a person has helped me, and that's kind of the same thing as she said. And knowing that, I love to win, I hate to lose, but even no matter what the result is of either of those two things, the girl next to me is still the same girl that I got to know, however many years ago it is that we met. So just not putting all your worth in one thing and their worth in one thing and what you say and lead them with.
We do talk about like we're a family, and families like do argue. Sometimes they say things that they don't mean. It's not always rainbows and sunshines, and so just reminding ourselves of that too, of like it is a competition, and there can be high level moments or people feel a lot of intensity, and so just understanding that there at the end of the day there is love there, like just like a family of at the end of the day, a family loves each other, and you may not always agree or something might be said, but whenever you're able to come down from that moment, being able to say, I'm sorry, or I just got caught up in the heat of the moment, but at the end of the day, there's love. You know, it's not getting caught up in those moments too, so.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And so what are you guys hoping for this upcoming season? What kind of goals do y'all have?
Great question. I think for us, just building on last year, I think we were able to see a glimpse of what it's like to make a huge run in the national tournament and be a contender for the national championship. And Freed has a history and a tradition of being a great women's basketball program. And so, I mean, we were fortunate to win in 2018. Neither one of us were here for that, but they won the national championship in 2018. In years past, like, they've always made deep runs in the national tournament. And so, first, it's just special to be a part of a program who has that kind of history. But I also feel like we're kind of writing our own story now, and that kind of started last year where we were able to just have a lot of special moments. And I think since we all got a taste of that, now we're really striving, like, we want to make a big push in the national tournament again. We want to contend for a national championship. And so I think since we got to experience that last year, that's all. We have a lot of returners this year. And so for the most part, everyone except for 2 girls on our team this year got to experience that last year. And so we are all kind of thinking end goal in mind of taking it day by day, but we have a big goal and dream at the end of the day that we want to be a contender for the national championship. So
Absolutely.
I was going to say the small goals are still the same,
Yeah.
you know, to win the next game, to win the next practice. But I want to win a national championship.
As you should.
That's the big goal, and I'm not the only one that wants that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I wanted to ask you guys, you know, from the fans and from the university's leadership perspective, just watching you guys go so far last year, how do you feel like the pressure is this year that it's expected of you guys to do so well this year as well?
I don't really feel pressure from anybody else other than I think the high expectations come from within. I think I have very high expectations for myself. I have very high expectations for our team. But overall, like, we have great support from our athletic department. We have great support from our university. We have great support from our community. And we remind ourselves of that a lot, of just how blessed we are to be at a place like Freed and a small knit community like Henderson. Of when we travel on the road, half the time we have more fans than the other team does, just because our families travel really well. And at the end of the day, like, it is really special to just have that support and people who are invested in your program. They come to the games. They have our team come over and feed us meals over the holidays or like when we're on break. And so overall, it's just really special that there's really not that pressure. It is just a lot of love and support and encouragement. But I think that we kind of put that pressure on ourselves because we have high expectations and we know what we're capable of. So.
Absolutely. And you guys are doing so well right now already. So I kind of wanted to ask you, since you guys want to go, you want to go all the way. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
But since you guys want to go all the way, what are some areas of improvement that you guys are working on now to push you guys farther?
You want me to go or you got it?
You can go, I'm thinking.
Okay. I think still kind of staying with that mindset. We haven't made as much of an emphasis of it this year of us versus us, which was our theme for last year. But I think the mindset still stays the same, where we talk about it in more of an indirect way of at the end of the day, like, practicing every day right now. Like, our games are not as consistently happening. December has been a little bit more spotty for games, and so even when we're practicing and we don't have a game coming up, like, we're still reminding ourselves that we've got to get better today. Like, take advantage of the opportunity given to you today. And conference will start in January, and that will be a consistent Thursday, Saturday schedule, and all of those teams are going to be high-level teams. And so really just kind of building some momentum to, like she said, not looking past any game that we have coming up or that we have already played in this non-conference, but really building momentum to January and then carrying that over January so then we can go into conference tournament really strong and then hopefully in the national tournament really strong. So just at the end of the day, like kind of stringing days together, games together, so that way we're hopefully playing our best basketball at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Did you want to add anything to that?
Mine are similar. I don't,
Yeah.
I just think the main area of improvement would be consistency over practices.
Yeah.
And which is right now, and the schedule that we're on right now is hard
Yeah.
to do. It's just a lot different.
Yeah.
But you just have to find that within yourself to find that this practice is important. Like it's just another day to improve, and I feel like that would be the main area of improvement. You could talk about all this X's and O's stuff on the court, but at the end of the day, like it's just the work that you put into it too. So just finding that consistency every day, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I have one final question for y'all, and it is, what do you hope the fan base or the community remembers about this season for the Freed-Hardeman basketball team?
I'm always a, leave it all out on the line kind of person, and I don't want our fans or community or even us, our parents, I don't want anybody to leave this season being like, well, they could have given more. Like they could have, they had more to give. Obviously, no matter when we end up, if we win the national championship, if we lose in, whatever, it doesn't, I want everybody to say they gave it everything they had and they left it all out on the line to win. And, sometimes it's just what you have to give is not enough, and that's just the way that it is. That's how we felt last year. Yeah. And, you can always be like, oh, well, we could have gone further. I just don't want any fans to be like, oh, there were some games that they didn't, leave it all out on the line. And I don't think they could say that as of this year and last year, so that is something to be proud of. And I just want to continue that. And I don't want them to remember, oh, they went and they won all these games by 20 points and they had 5 people scoring in double digits. Like, I want it to be like they left it all out on the line. Yeah. And especially for this season, I feel like that's just a good way for me to go out, and even the other girls that are seniors. And I'm sure they all will have the same answer as I would. So I want them to remember, oh, they won a national championship in 2025 or 2026. But other than that, just the hardworking principle that we go by, and everybody did it. So it was a united front that was, putting up that effort. So
took the words right out of my mouth. just to piggyback off of that, though, I mean, I want them to enjoy watching this group. Like, I get to see them on a daily basis of how much work they put in, but also like everything we've talked about of just the connection. Like, they are genuinely a great group of girls, and make my job a lot easier. They make my job a joy to be around. And there are times in the season where it's challenging. It's challenging for them. It's challenging for me. Of just the grind of this season can get really difficult and really long, and everybody gets really tired. But kind of like what she's saying as well, of just, I want people to enjoy watching us. I want them to see the great qualities that these girls have and who they are. And that's how I want us to be remembered, is kind of like what she said as well. Like, if we win the national championship, great. That would be awesome. They'll probably put our picture somewhere. But I also just kind of going along with everything of not being result driven. Even if we don't accomplish that, there is so much more about this team that makes them special, that that would be great if that does happen. But if not, just enjoying who they are as people, and that being demonstrated on the floor too in their special group.
Absolutely. And then before we end, I just have to ask you, because you briefly mentioned it, but what is next for you? This is your final season of basketball.
Well, I really, have some holes in some things, just kind of, but I am going to be a PE teacher in the future. I may coach. I'm just kind of, flying by the seat of my pants, but I do know that I am going to teach. And right now, I plan on staying around Freed and teaching at a local elementary school. And so, just staying with being active, that's why I chose PE. I think it's important, and just kind of instilling what I've learned from sports onto these kids. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know I'm going to be a teacher, and that's what I know. And so,
Awesome.
I'll take whatever opportunity I'm given, really. So
I love that.
Well, do you have any more questions?
That's it. Well, thank you guys for joining.
Thank you for having
us.
me.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, and thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all in the next one.